Archie's Madhouse issue 24 is Sabrina. At least issue 24 is doing an actual story. After some stereotypical witches notice how the boys go crazy over Sabrina, in spite of her short hair, we see a story called Witch Pitch, where Della tells her to put a spell on her school hockey team. And Sabrina's somehow happy about it. I really wish I knew why. After she casts the spell, she thinks that now she can conserve her witch's power because they'll lose by themselves. So like in the 70s comic, it has a limit. But since when is she concerned about conserving her power? Is it much more limited? She notices that one of the blondes on the team is cute, and casts a spell to make him score a goal. Then it turns out she did that subconsciously because she asked why she did that, when she just said he was cute. So she should know the answer. Then she accidentally helps him out again. Why doesn't she leave at this point? Instead, her idiocy makes her hockey team win. The head witch's familiar gets sent to her and she gets taken to Della. Even though clearly she still did something wrong because she made sure that a team won illegitimately. One minute Della asks Sabrina what happened, and the next minute she says that Sabrina's fallen in love, when all she did was admire someone's appearance. People can't help that. If that was all it took, and people lost their powers for falling in love, then every witch would lose their powers almost immediately. Does she know what happened at the game or not? Clearly she does, because her familiar instantly knew the game was won. So he must have spied on it magically. Why did Della even bother asking her what happened when she knows the answer already? We see that Della was talking to Sabrina in a witch's headquarters, and there's a sign telling unauthorized demons to keep out. Wouldn't there be just a force field preventing them from going to the wrong places? Why would a sign be seen as useful? And don't tell me this means that witches are considered to be demons. Della threatens to assign her to the North Pole, but Sabrina says she's allergic to long winter underwear somehow. I guess that's just a lame excuse to try to get her to change her mind. And Della must be enchanted against all magic, or she casts a spell on her to change her mind. And Della starts her trend from the 70s comic of being surprisingly all bark and no bite, because she gives her another chance. I'm guessing she'll do nothing but give her second chances. She decides that because Sabrina can't be trusted, she should handle the job herself. At least she didn't take away her powers. Oh, but so much for intelligence on her part, because she has Sabrina with her anyways. Wouldn't she have known Sabrina used magic to make her team win accidentally because she said oops and asked why she did that? So she would just make the same thing happen again. Surprisingly, Della takes one look at Coach Richards and decides that Baxter High should win the game after all. I wasn't expecting that from her. That's kinda sweet, but fixing a game for one team isn't any morally better than fixing a game for another team. Either way, they didn't really deserve to win. I wish I knew why she assigned that goal to Sabrina. I'm sure it's all boiling down to racism against mortals for being mortals. Discrimination exists, so it is believable, but she never says that. And there's still some good in making a team lose because the team that won and the fans of it will be happy. So there's definitely a worse evil deed that Della could have made her do than that. So it's good for being kid-friendly that that's all she made her do. I guess she just made her do something petty for the sake of variety. The story would have made more sense right away if Della explained that she made a bet over who would win the game. So she stands to make a lot of money off having Sabrina fix the game for her. Then she'd have an understandable motivation and be more like an escapist character. Sabrina says it's peachy of Della to change her mind like this, when I thought Sabrina wanted Baxter High to lose. She's always blindly in agreement with Della in this comic, even when Della suddenly changes her mind. Was she brainwashed into always agreeing with Della's choices, even when she changes her mind? A witch could do that. Then we should have been told that from the start. It'd be more realistic for a witch to brainwash her subordinate just to be safe. It's either that or she admires Della that much, but she has no reason to admire her, other than admiring her because she's a well-known celebrity, and admiring her beauty, and it couldn't have been the intent back in the 60s. But that's what it looks like. It doesn't make any sense that she would admire her for being evil. After Sabrina has to reluctantly turn down dating a guy, She wishes that she was like Della. And somehow she thinks Della never lets anyone tempt her, when it was immediately obvious why Della decided to make Baxter High win. Because she called the coach a dreamboat. And Sabrina knew what it was like to be in that situation. Instead, she thinks Della's a real witch's witch, as Della's flirting with a guy, and somehow she won't lose her powers and become human. I guess just because she's head witch. Why does she not let any other witch fall in love then? Why would she think it's only okay for her? Witches could use magic to solve an overpopulation problem just fine. So that's not it. Being the head witch gives her the special privileges. Well, that story was confusing. She's Sabrina in name only in retrospect. Why would she be happy to make a hockey team lose? And that's such a petty evil deed for Della to force her to do. And Della herself doesn't make any sense at all. But at least it's interesting that Sabrina's out of character.